Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to the Aha Moments radio show for the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened living worldwide with your host, Mariana Cooper, founder of Aha Moments International and AhaMomentsWorld.com. Tune in for the next hour and learn to trust your aha moments to lead the way to live a passionate and purposeful life. And now here's your host, Mari.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Aha Moments radio show for the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened living worldwide. I'm Mari, and happy Tuesday. Welcome back. We are kind of doing these shows every other week now. It seems my schedule is just beyond almost human capacity, so we're trying to get as many in as we can. But anyway, we are here today, and I'm excited. Mercury in retrograde is over as of Sunday, and we had a big full moon, a blue moon actually, and now we're in a waning moon, which means that we're getting less and less light each night. So manifesting-wise, things normally slow down a bit during a waning moon, or can. You know, it's kind of the tide goes out. But because we just had a big Mercury retrograde, so many other planets retrograding, you probably won't feel much of the waning moon because now that the retrograde is lifted, things are going to feel much better. I mean, a waning moon cannot hold a candle to all the stuff that was going on with those planets over the last several weeks. So you should start to feel a little bit better, and if you have not been feeling good, and things just start to smooth out a bit as we go to the summer. And we don't have another retrograde until the end of August. I think it's like August 30th to September 22nd is what I saw. And then for some odd reason, we have a fourth retrograde this year, and it's going to be right during Christmas. It's like December 19th to the 31st, which is really weird because it's a really short window. Usually they're 3 weeks long, and that's not 3 weeks. But I was looking at the charts, and I was like, wow, So just, as you're making your plans, just know you might want to do your Christmas shopping early. I have some friends who already started, can you imagine? And you have to keep that in the back of your mind. So anyway, today's show, we are going to be talking about how to have more confidence and trust in your manifesting, especially when you're working with your parallel realities. And I know that a lot of people listening in now are doing this work, and I'm very excited about that. So I wanted to give you a few tips on how to have more confidence, because confidence doesn't come from knowing theory. Confidence comes from taking action and getting some results from the actions that you take. So we're going to go through some of the ways to develop that, and I will be taking some calls. So if you'd like to call in and ask a question, the number to call in is 347-215-9485. That's 347-215-9485, and Sam will take your call and put you in the queue to talk to me a little bit later in the show. Okay, so how to have more confidence? Well, like I said, manifesting is a very interesting thing because it changes and shifts very dynamically. I just taught a class before the show. Today's the first day I did that, where I taught a whole class, and then I decided to do a show, so I'm like a little tongue-tied. Anyway, manifesting is a very dynamic process. So, and especially when you're working with your parallels and your multidimensional energy with consciousness. And when I say that, we're always working with those, but most of the time people are not conscious that they're doing it, so they don't have any idea what they're doing, and they're all over the place. But because you've taken the time to start to sort this thing out, just know that everything does shift very dynamically, very quickly, very powerfully. And as you start to spin your energy and conjure your energy, with focus, you will have bigger reactions to things. So if you have been, sort of listening, if you've taken the Multidimensional Manifesting Lab course and you've been, trying to practice switching parallels and and doing parallel reality type sessions, then what you're going to find is that you are amping up your frequency, you're amping up your sensitivity, you're also amping up your energy. So things will start to happen more quickly, more powerfully, and everything is neutral. So you'll, as you get more sensitive, if you're more sensitive and angry, that anger will sort of plow through more powerfully than normal. And the same thing with joy and happiness and sadness and all those other things. Everything is amped up. So it's like punching up the volume on things and the sensitivity on things. So when you have that happening, it's important to, once you start the work, it's important to continue and not just start. It's not, like I say, over and over and over again. It's not a magic trick. It's building a muscle. So if you only lift the weights once a month, you're not going to get the results, period, end of story. And it's the same thing with this. If you're only focusing on this once a month or when you hear the show, kind of like people go to church for 1 hour a week and expect that they'll be benevolent for the rest of the week. It doesn't work like that. It really is something that requires attention and focus, just like anything else that you want to get a result in. So please make sure that, number one, you are actually doing the work and on a regular basis. On a regular basis, I mean that you're doing your alignment sessions 3 times a day. And that will really help to set the energy and so that you can start to have noticeable results. So also remember that when you are working with manifesting energy, you are actually almost, it's like the energy is almost like the potter's clay. You're actually, except that you're not necessarily creating anything because it's already in existence. What you're doing is you're scanning and then you're choosing. So you're scanning what you desire to have or not and choosing. So whatever you focus on is what registers on that in your catalog as a choice. So focus equals choice. And so wherever you focus on how things never happened for you, all the past things that have ever happened, how nothing ever works for you, then you're choosing those parallels where nothing ever happens for you, things don't work for you, the past didn't work for you either, the future probably won't. You're choosing the parallel where that is so. If you choose to focus, to focus your focus in other ways for things that you truly desire, then you'll get that. So, but like we've talked about before, it won't happen where you see it physically necessarily right away. Your circumstances will take a little time to start to reflect your desires that you've made choices on. So you have to allow that upload to start to happen. So it's just like if you're uploading an app on your phone, you click on that app, and the little circle that goes around to let you know it's loading. You can't use the app until the circle is complete. So it's just like you're loading in a new parallel. You go through your catalog of parallels like you do in the App Store. You pick the parallel, and you watch it start to load in. See? And as it loads in, you don't go and start punching all these other buttons or slamming on the phone trying to get it to load in faster. You allow it to load in, and you just watch the dial. And sometimes, like if you're loading software in your computer, it might say something like, we need you to, it will stop the upload, and it'll say, we need you to shut down 2 programs that are still open on your computer and that are slowing down the upload of your new software. So it might say, shut down Word and Excel or whatever you have open. So, and then click the button, the resume button, right? So the upload can resume. So, you do that, and then the upload continues. So it's the same thing with this work, is that you're allowing the upload to happen, and there's certain things that you're going to need to do for the upload to continue. And that's where you have that sort of communication between yourself and your parallel. And I always say to my advanced students, let the parallel have its way with you. The minute you decide, you make a choice, I'm going in this direction, I desire this thing, I'm choosing this thing. The minute you decide that, that's when the parallel starts the upload. Immediately. Okay, so you'll start to see some evidence or not. Usually you will. You'll get a little bit of a sign or something to start, but you have to stay focused in that alignment, that vibration. So if you try to, I know someone who says, just for now, I don't want to know anything about. I don't want to. I'm stressed out, and I'm not going to deal with these parallel things. I just have to say this. I just, I hate this one and that one, blah blah blah. And I just don't want to be bothered with spiritual stuff right now. And da 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 da. And I'll get back to it. But because right now I'm stressed out. And what she doesn't realize is that she's really picking backwards in the parallel. She's picking the old way. She's just, and I just said, okay, do whatever you want. And you're just backsliding yourself. And so it's not a matter of you can't throw it away at convenience and expect it to still happen. It's not a magic trick, okay? It's building a muscle. So it's just like, that's like throwing a lot of weight around. It's like if you're working with 8-pound weights and all of a sudden you go up to 50, or you're working with 50-pound weights and all of a sudden you go down to 1 and expect the same results. You're not going to get them, right? So it's the same, very similar thing. So very important to be consistent and to practice. And they say practice makes perfect. We're not looking for perfection here. You don't really need it. But what we are looking for is a conversation. Okay, you're looking for, and this is what we talk about in the aha factor, we're looking for a two-way conversation with what? Angels and guides? Not necessarily, with yourself. So you have that big version of you, excuse me, you have that big version of you, that big ball of energy, it's actually bigger than the planet Earth, that it can expand even beyond to all the other galaxies and beyond the planetary systems and all the different suns and planets that are out there. You have that version of you, that big version of you, and then you have that symbol of a body within that's having a physical experience right now in this lifetime on this planet. And so that big version of you is always sending signals and having a conversation with you. It's looking to have a conversation, a two-way conversation with you. It's not a one-way conversation where you're asking, and then waiting for some giant parent in the sky to decide whether it likes you or not, drops up down to help you out or not. This is a two-way conversation where you're choosing, and then you are allowing and choosing and allowing and choosing and taking action and allowing. And the action comes when your higher self speaks back and lets you know, here's a synchronicity, here's a sign, take this step, take that step. That's why it's so important to be able to do both things. The aha factor, your aha factor, the whole energetic communication system, becoming fluent in your intuition is extremely important to building confidence in your manifesting. Extremely. It's probably the number one thing to do is to become fluent in the language of your intuition, because that's how your parallels speak back to you. That's how your higher self speaks to you. That's how the conversation happens. So a lot of people, like I said, they think it's a magic trick, and they say, okay, Mari, what's the recipe? And I see a lot of people, they only take level one of the thing, and they listen to the recordings over and over again because they just think, if I just get this recipe right, I'll get my stuff, and that's it. And it's a lifestyle. It's a whole life stream. It's not just step 1, step 2, step 3, poof. Step 1, step 2, step 3, poof. It's not that. It's not a matter of perfectionistic. It's a matter of living an entire way of being, an interaction. It's an interaction. If you interact with your best friend with just, instructions on how to use phone. Okay, step 1, pick up iPhone. Step 2, swipe thing. Step 3, put thumb over circle so that security allows me through. Step 4, find phone icon. Step 5, press phone icon. Step 6, find contacts. Step 7, find favorites. Step 7, press button of friend. Step 8, wait for dial tone. Then step 9, she says hello, and now I'm supposed to say hello now. Hello. And then you're supposed to answer me. She says, hi, what are you doing? And you're going back and forth, and you're recipeing your communication. And then if she doesn't answer on the second ring, why didn't she answer on the second ring? I said, I followed the instructions. That's how people are approaching their manifesting. And manifesting isn't about a recipe. It's about a conversation. It's about ongoing conversation. And so, and I see it over and over again. People try to shortcut. They're frustrated. They're mixing up a lot of systems, which is another way that you can lose confidence. You're mixing a lot of systems. I hear people say, oh, well, I know this already. I saw Abraham. Oh, I know this already. I watched The Secret. Oh, I know this already. And it's really not that. It's none of those things. So what you're getting is so many mixed signals, so much misinformation, and so many things where you don't have enough information about the bigger picture. So yes, in the first couple of classes we talked about the constructs of how to, do a session, an alignment session, to choose a parallel and to start the process of aligning with it. But you do an alignment session, maybe you take 10 minutes to do an alignment session or less. Even if you do it 3 times a day like we prescribed, it's only 30 minutes a day. You have 15 hours and a half if you're up 16 hours a day to manage the rest of the day. And that's when people start, saying, well, should I be saying I'm grateful and just gratitude? If I have lots of gratitude, won't it come through? Like I keep pressing the elevator button, hoping that the elevator doors will, the thing will come faster. And that's just to be saying, I'm grateful for the new house. I'm grateful for the new man. I'm grateful for John to call me. I'm grateful for John calling me. I'm grateful for John calling. John calls me now. John calls me now. Oh, I hear from John. Oh, John's coming. Keep saying that over and over again. It does nothing. There's no feeling. It's not pressing an elevator button over and over and over and over and over and over again. And this is why it's so important to have ongoing education, ongoing connection with other people who are doing similar and living the same type of way. It's very important to continuously question and continuously practice this. And then you let it be, and then you continue to practice, and then you let it be, and you continue to practice and communicate. So the aha factor aspect of this, the intuition, understanding your telepathy, channeling, intuitive abilities, and how it's, automatic writing, all those things that are in the book, will make this whole process of communicating in the parallels much easier, with your higher self, much easier, because that's the whole point of having that language. That's why I wrote the book first, and then I started talking about this parallel stuff and the manifest stuff. So that being said, assuming you're doing these sessions and you're kind of doing the work, developing confidence. One of the things that you want to do, and we talked about this in my level 2 class today, not lean into the past and fall into the trap of thinking that that your past creates your future, and that because the only reason why your past would create your future is because you're choosing a parallel where your past is showing up again in your face. Okay, so from this system, what you can do is to choose a parallel either where the past doesn't, where you didn't have that past, or you just choose a parallel where you're saying, the past is not going to affect my current situation right now. I'm going to choose from a fresh, clean slate. And I'm not going to get into all of that, the details of all that. But what I want to just say is that you want to keep your focus on the new parallel, okay? And when you're not in your alignment sessions and you're kind of going through the other 15 and a half hours of the waking day, the way that you want to focus is not on your circumstances and how it's reading out, like keeping score, because that will bring your confidence down a lot too if it's not immediately shifting over. But what you want to do is focus on your vibrational resonance, okay, so what your energy is doing at the time as opposed to what your circumstances are reading out. Now, I'll be honest, this is a challenge. It challenges me, it challenges everybody. This is the challenge of this work, is that we're so conditioned to look at circumstances and take score. Is this person sending me more text messages? Is this person, talking to me more? Is this person, especially when you're dealing with relationship things, and you're in, okay, they texted me 3 times today and they only texted me 2 times yesterday. So maybe that's a good thing. Oh, they didn't text me today at all. So So that must be a bad thing. Oh, well, I thought this manifesting stuff was going to work. Well, what do I have to do? Do I have to do another session? Okay, let me go do another session because they only texted me twice today and they texted me 3 times yesterday. If you want to kill a vibrational tone, do that. You want to take a fire hose to your parallels, do that. Because what you're doing is, when you keep score like that, when you start doing that checks and balances thing, what you are telling the energy is, I'm in a parallel where it's not here yet. And I have chosen a parallel where it's not here, and I'm spinning, counting down to when it's going to be here. And so what you're doing is you're choosing right out of the parallel that you think you're in, because you're choosing a waiting parallel instead of choosing a being parallel. And when you choose a waiting parallel, you lose confidence because nothing happens. Because the only thing that happens is more waiting, more calculating, more spinning, more keeping score, more checks and balances, more needing of reassurance. You know? And you listen to the same thing over and over again, and it's like, okay, and looking for reassurance in every direction you can find. Is it a sign? Do I have any signs coming in? Do I have any you know, and there's a panic that goes with that. And all you're doing is creating a very a parallel that is, like, I call them like imposter parallels, where it kind of sort of seems like you think you're mentally, you might think you're in the parallel, because you're waiting for it to happen and you're doing all the right things, because you say, I did all the right things and it's not working. Well, what does that mean? How are you approaching this, right? So this is why it's not a recipe. State of being. And your state of being is what creates things coming from the invisible into the visible, what creates physical matter. It's your state of being that creates it, not your recipeing and your checks and balances. And is it here yet? Is it here yet? Is it here? If you're asking, is it here yet? You're not in the parallel. You've stepped out and you're looking through a window into a parallel. Okay? So the way that you step into the beingness of it is, like I said, when you're in that, you do your alignment sessions 3 times a day, and that's when you're really, kind of in your scene and all that. And that's in the Manifesting One class, okay? And then those other 15 and a half hours a day, each choice you make, do I choose to go work on, a project for work, or do I choose to go for a walk, or do I choose to wash the dishes, or do I choose to wash the clothes, or do I choose to bathe the cat, or do I choose to go for a jog? Pick whichever makes you feel excited for that moment. Moment by moment, you're picking the thing that's of the highest excitement. Now, you can also choose another way, and that is, you could say, the person in the parallel of my choice, so the person who's married to that guy, or the person who's a size 6 now, or, who's lost 50 pounds, or the version of me that's already lost 50 pounds, the version of me that's already married to the great guy, the version of me that's already living in the great house, the version of me that's already feeling financially independent and free, the version of me that's already the millionaire, the version of me that's already the published author, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What would that person do in this choice? Would the version of me who's already a size 6 choose the jog, or talking on the phone to my friend? Would the size 6 version of me choose this dish over that dish? Now, the size 6 version of you might choose, would the size 6 version of me choose the milkshake or the iced tea? Sometimes the size 6 version would pick the milkshake because it makes them happy, and because they're not worried about their weight, they can have kind of whatever they want in moderation, so they let themselves have the shake. Okay? You don't want to think from the person who's been on a zillion diets and under all kinds of, Navy SEAL kind of regimens. You want to think as a size 6 person who's healthy and has a healthy relationship with food and doesn't have an emotional eating, situation and all that. Choose that way. So it might be the shake. It might be the iced tea. Maybe that person already had a shake too, a few days ago, and they just say, you know what, the iced tea, I think that's going to do it for me today. I don't really need a shake. I'm not going to deal with a shake. And, if you watch somebody, if you have a weight issue and you watch people who don't, They're not really all spinning out about food. I mean, now I'm not talking about the food Nazi people, okay? The people are like out of control with the food, with the vegan and this, the raw, the that, they can't have, and this has to be, and this, it'll give the cancer and all. That's craziness, right? I'm not talking about all of that. I'm talking about the people who have a healthy relationship with food so that it's not one extreme or the other. And the food will behave the way you dictate it too, also. So you can be in the parallel where you say, okay, I'm going to choose this particular food, and my body is going to react to it just fine, as opposed to my body's going to blow up, I'm going to get the cancer, and this and that. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. It only means that if you say it is. You command your body to get cancer from substance, you'll get cancer from the substance, or you could, So you have to think about your power, and that's another thing with confidence, is to recognize. And as you do this consistently over and over and over again, and you start to see the results come into your world, because if you do what I'm saying, you will get results much faster, right? If you're picking a high vibrational choice every choice of the day, or most choices of the day, you're staying in the parallel of the ultimate alignment session that you were working on. You're staying in it all day, staying in it 15 hours a day. If you're staying in that vibrational alignment with the parallel that you desire, it's loading in faster. It's like having a higher speed computer that uploads things really fast because the broadband is staying very clear, right? You have high speed internet. You have a brand new Apple computer, and you've got whatever the best operating system is. You've got all this memory, and it's the computer isn't overloaded with stuff and storage, and so that thing is starting to upload. It uploads like lightning speed, like because there's no block. There's no dip in energy. There's no dip in the signal from the cable company. There's no dip in your storage on the computer. There's no, the computer's the highest operating system. That's what you want to do with your 15 and a half hours a day, is you want to keep your operating system as clean and efficient and as fast as possible. And if you're going back and forth, counting, looking for all these linear proof points of what, that you're getting there faster, that is happening and you're going to have it and it's all going in your way and it's happening now. And if you're looking at that every single minute of the day in that way, you, like I said, you're pulling yourself out of the parallel and you're very, what's the word? You're, it's a very nebulous thing. It's almost like an illusion. You feel like you're in the parallel, but you don't realize it. You very quietly backwards out of it. Because I'll tell you what, this is another thing with confidence and trust. I think what I've seen over time, dealing with so many, thousands of people and the hundreds of people through this course, people feel much more comfortable in waiting than they do in getting what they're looking for. It's really fascinating because if you're in perfect alignment, it happens immediately. So if there's any lack in time at all, it's because there's something that has to align, right? And so what I've seen is that a lot of people pick something that's so complicated and so complex and so distant, and so, so there's a lot of configuring that has to happen. And then I also see people who choose really low things for themselves. They make their goals and their aspirations so low, and because they're still in their mental mind of what can I personally accomplish that I know I can get done, and then they make that their manifesting project, and that also, and that may not come to pass because the excitement isn't around it. Because it's so easy. It's not even easy. It's so just mundane. It's almost dishonest mundane because it's like, well, I know I could probably get this. Not necessarily what I ultimately would want, but I'm going to just focus on what I could, what I know I could create or what I know I could earn. I've seen this happen a lot, and then people just shoot so low. If you shoot for the curve, usually when you shoot high, a lot of times you end up a little bit lower. Sometimes you shoot high and you overshoot, you end up higher than what you expected, which is great. But a lot of times people shoot, especially people who are going to shoot really low, they're going to always end up lower than what they're shooting because they don't have the confidence, or they don't have the drive, or they don't have the belief, right? So if you're shooting for the curve, where are you going to end up? if you're shooting that low to start. You know what I mean? If you're always operating from it, my circumstances have to prove something out to me first before I'm willing to trust and take the leap to something bigger. And so I watch people, they just dumb down their dreams to such a low point, and then they want to know why they can't find their passion and their purpose and their inspiration. You just dumbing it down so low that you're not inspired by it. It's not exciting to you. And that gets in the way of your confidence. So look at what you're doing. Are your aspirations exciting to you? Because if they're not, then the kind of ambiguity in the learning process won't be worth the energy. It's like, why go through all that sit and spin of learning a new way of being if the goal isn't all that great anyway? You know, you have to get yourself so that whatever it is you're desiring in your new parallel makes you either laugh hysterically because it feels so decadent, or sob with joy because it feels so divine. You know, if you're not having some laughs or some sobs, you're not in it. You haven't hit it. You better feel like you're bouncing off the walls. Let me tell you, when I get into the parallels, if I reel up myself, I kind of go into the deep, you know, jungles of my parallels. It's like, what? You know, you're spinning around the house. And people say, how do you think you're going to get that done? Oh, well, you know, fat chance we'll see that in this lifetime. Or, you know, oh, good luck with that. Let's see how fast that happens for you, Mari. I've had people literally say that to me. And, you know, it's very distressful, especially back then, because I didn't have this level of work that I have now. Now I look at them when they say stuff like that to me. I'm like, yeah, we'll see how far you get. That's no problem. You know, I don't even care. So, yeah. So those are you know, some major things that play a role in your confidence. Okay. The other thing I want to say is, just looking at my notes here to see. Okay, the other thing I want to say is, please be careful with mixing systems. I have a lot of people that get on the calls with me and they say, oh, I've been doing this for 20 years, and, well, you know, so I'm just thinking that what you're saying is, and, you know, I studied with this one, and I studied with that one, and I did this, and I did that, and you start mixing systems, and then none of it works. Right, because each system comes with an interpreter. You know, it's interpreting energy a certain way. And one of the really important things is that you pick your system and you're in it 100%, and that you go deep into it. You know, a lot of people across the board. I was a telesummit host for a long time, and I would have 30 people on a summit. You know, I have other colleagues who have, you know, 60 people on the summit, 20 people, 12, whatever, but you're listening to all of these people who have all of these different points of view and all of these different modalities, and you're dabbling. You buy the cheap package, you got a little of this and a little of that and a little of this and a little of that. You figure, okay, I'm going to make my own chili with all this stuff, and then you want to know why it doesn't work. And that's because, number one, whenever you're listening to a high-level, introductory level, because telesummits are all introductory level, you're getting a very surface level of the information, you know, and it's not the whole thing by any stretch of the imagination. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be a sample. It's meant to be a taster, you know, and then you choose your person of choice or your modalities of choice, and you go deep into it so that you can get the actual result as promised, okay? And not only that, but get it integrated into the way you actually be in your world, how you operate. You know, I don't do parallels, you know, once a day when I'm talking to you guys. I do this all day long, all night long. You know, I use my dreams. I do a lot of channeling through my dreams. I get huge downloads in my dreams. I'm waking up, typing things into my other phone and into my notebook and all that. The aha factor, I live that. I created that book. I wrote that book for my own personal discovery and experience over a period of 8 years. And that came from a period of 25 years of studying and you know, bumping into walls and hitting my head and, you know, falling down and crashing and going through life and figuring it out. So, you know, it's not just the little dab will do you, and then life is perfect. Okay, this is a live stream. This is about really investing in your time and in yourself and in your practices and going deep, picking, and it doesn't have to be me, but pick somebody and something and go deep into it. Invest financially, invest emotionally, invest with your time, invest with your commitment so you can get the result. And once you get the result, then you can decide, okay, was this an efficient way for me to get these results, or is there a better way? You know, when I was in the mystery school, it was very ritualistic. Everything was a ritual. I had to do rituals all, 3 times a day and blah, blah, blah. It was a very arduous process. For that time, it was exactly what I needed at that time. And then I outgrew it and moved on. And outgrew it, when I say outgrow it, does disenfranchise how important it is. And I do periodically. I know my energy, and I know, okay, it's time to do some rituals. I'm feeling really gumped up right now. So I will go and I will pull out my paperwork and I will do rituals, to help me, to move me along, even as I'm doing parallels. Sometimes it just, I'm just exhausted, and I just feel like I've had, a lot of interactions with a lot of people. So sometimes it's important to just do like a, what I call them heave-ho rituals, where you just like, punch it through some serious energy, or, just sort of, you're sort of changing altitudes and you're going up to the next higher level. There's a lot of turbulence as you go from one altitude to the next. And so a lot of times I'll do rituals or some kind of like major energetic hygiene stuff as I let go of old constructs that I was living by and allow myself to move up. And, as you move up, you travel lighter. As you move up in this work, you travel lighter. It's not so much thinking and juxtapositioning and having to prove it out to your mental mind. And I see a lot of my very advanced students, those in my certification courses, they're like butter. They're just trusting and they're moving, and they move quick. Of course everybody gets stuck a little bit, but it's because they practice, because they're dedicated and they focus. And then they sort of they have a good solid base, and then like a cake batter where you're folding in flavors into a cake batter, they fold in whatever new information, but they don't like throw out the first cake and try to get a whole new cake because that's the magic bullet for this month. And oh wait, stop. Oh wait, no, it was that guy over there. He's got a laser wand. Ooh, we need that. Oh wait, no, wait, stop. Wait, no, that one over there heals the chakras. Oh wait, no, this one is talking to the UFOs. That's it. That's the way I need to go. It's none of this. They're those girls who are really like manifesting very quickly, very confident, building their skills. They're kind of staying in a zone, and they're folding it in, and they're very discerning. So that will also make you confident. Being able to say no to something will make you a lot more confident often than saying yes all the time, right? So I know I've had clients where I've just said, you know what, I can't. I'm not doing this. I'm not working with you. I'm just not. This is just it. And I remember doing that and turning back a chunk of money because this coaching client wanted, it was kind of crazy, and I just was like, no, I'm not doing this. It's going to be miserable for me. No way. I don't care how much money. I was like, I don't want your money. I don't want to do this. I'm not doing it. And they were just absolutely sent me this scathing letter. How could you not want to work with me? And no. It's not a good fit. Let's just say it. That's a nice professional way of saying, no, I'm not doing it. And, and it was a turning point in my career because when you first start, people try to treat you like this all the time. They say, what do you see from me? What do you see? Well, maybe we could trade. I don't need to trade. I've been doing this for a really long time. I'm not an apprentice. I don't need to do this for free. And I can say no. And that was like a step forward. So for you, as you're getting more advanced and you're really investing your time in your energetic, side and really investing your time and energy into this type of work, as you get more confident, you'll be able to know, I'm going to listen to this speaker or that speaker, and then it's no. Nope, yes. It'll be more no's than yes. It won't be, yes. Oh, that looks good, that looks good. Okay, no. You don't want to need Tums after you finish, like an energetic Tums after you finish all of this, okay? You want to feel nourished by what you're investing your time and energy and money into. Not like you've just gone to, a car wash and you're all over the place, a Chinese buffet, and it's like, oh God, you want to have go to a really high-end, really high-quality specialty restaurant, like an Italian restaurant, as opposed to the buffet where it has, the sizzler or the everything, bad pasta, bad steak, a little bit of everything. So, you'll play with that. But as far as building your confidence, when you are sort of throwing down the gauntlet and saying, okay, I'm going to stick with this. This feels right for now. I'm going to stick with this and see how far I get with this and see how life is shifting with this. And is this something that I can rotate into my day with ease? Can I live pretty easily with this? Some things are more cumbersome than others. But some people like cumbersome. I know people who in a mystery school for years and years, and they love the ritualistic stuff, and that it's not cumbersome for them. I'm more neat and sweet. I need more efficient, and I need to, I'm more, and I have a short attention span and patience and all that. So I know its place, but for me, there was other things, right? And you outgrow stuff too. You kind of, your guides are pulling you forward. Your higher self is saying, okay, we're good on that. Now it's time to move forward. Some people try to stay with something forever. And, but then they don't get the changes they desire because their higher self is trying to pull them forward, but they want to stay kind of in that comfort zone. So these are all things. Okay. So I'm going to stop here, see if you guys have questions. And I know that I see Sam is getting everybody together on the phone line, so we're going to start taking some calls. The number to call in, if you'd like to call in, is 347-215-9485. It's 347-215-9485. Okay, so we are going to take the first person, which is Dana in Florida. Hi, Dana. Hello? Wait. I'm going to click over here, Sam. Okay. Hi, Dana.
How are you?
Hi. Good. How are you?
Good. Doing pretty good.
Great.
I wanted to
question?
ask you a question about, you were talking about let the parallel have its way with you.
Yes.
And I was feeling some resistance with that. So,
yeah. I want to control it. I must control it all. How can I have something let it have its way with me? Right?
Right.
So, and fair enough. What was your question? Tell me more details about what you're resisting.
Because I'm thinking, when you're saying pick your parallel, that feels like you have some control over what you're doing. But then when you're talking about let the parallel have its way with you, do you then just relax into whatever comes your way, or you said not to be looking how things are showing up. You're supposed to just know that it's going to occur and not have to keep score.
Okay, so good questions. All really good questions. So the first thing is when I say let the parallel have its way with you, what happens is once we've kind of, loaded in our parallel, we've picked the thing, we've done the alignment session, we start to, let's say you're interested in a person and you see yourself with this person and, you have all the scene and everything, and then you want to hear from that person more. And the person doesn't within an hour start texting you or calling you or, the whole relationship doesn't just flip because your parallel is loading in. So you start to count texts. That's choosing back out of the parallel. That's what I mean. So whereas when I say let the parallel have its way with you, let it be. You let it be, and you just watch. You might get the text, but you look at the tone of the text. Has the tone, has the quality of the text. You might get one text instead of the 10 that you want, but the quality of the tone is better. And that lets you know it's loading in, and you have to just say, okay, it's loading in. I'm moving on now. I'm allowing. And what you do, instead of trying to focus on this parallel, when I say let it have its way with you, it's allow it to configure, because there's a lot, especially if you're dealing with other people, there's a lot of circumstantial physical things that have to configure. And and so you have to allow that to configure. If you're in there trying to, machinate the whole thing, you're stopping the process. A lot of times people, let's say you wanted a house, and you're focused on I have to get a mortgage, so you start trying to manifest a mortgage. Well, I would say just focus on manifesting the house because you may not need a mortgage. There may be a way that house was coming to you without a mortgage. So that's letting the parallel have its way with you. That's why we say focus on the end, not the middle, and focus on the end result of just, feeling congratulatory about it, feeling, excited, ecstatic, all those things, and let the rest of the how have its way with you. And now, when I say that, it doesn't mean that you ignore signs. If you get a sign to do something, take the step.
Right.
That's still, so that's your participation in the parallel. So you're not just sitting there laying down like you're on a massage table waiting for the parallel to have its way with you and abuse you. It's you're having an interactive conversation with that new energy, and your higher self is saying, okay, you want that house, yeah. So you're driving and you say, and they say, oh, you know what? Go down Elm Street today. You're like, you just feel like I should go down Elm Street today. Well, that doesn't make sense. It's not even on my GPS. I never take that street. It says, and something just says go down Elm Street. And then as you're going down Elm Street, you see a billboard for, 0% down loans or what. You see something that would get you there faster than you would have if you did it your way. Do you see what I mean? So that's letting the parallel have its way with you. Is allowing the signs and symbols and the synchronicities to show up and then to act on them so the next one will come.
Right, rather than trying to figure it out yourself.
Exactly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because if you knew how to figure it out, you already be in the parallel.
Well, it's not your job, and the human mental mind can't figure it out. That's the whole point. The point is that the higher self is downloading information into your pineal gland, into your brain, literally, and then your physical body, your brain transfers from the energetic information into a physical, message that your physical mind can perceive, and then you, as a human, perceive the message that you get. So there's a whole process that's going on, and so the how comes from your higher self. It never comes from you. So what you desire comes from you, but quite frankly, that's implanted in you from the higher self too, because the higher self is sort of out there looking over the vistas, looking over the mountains, and saying, "Hey, this will be good for her. Let's let her know." And so then you get this thing that you feel is like inspiration, and it came from your higher self to begin with. And then you go into this whole thing, especially if you're trying to control it, and you say, oh, I've got to tell my greater self or God or whoever, I need this, and I got to tell them why I need it, and how I need it, and when it has to happen, and this is it. And they're like, okay, we're the ones who told you about it to begin with.
Exactly. Right.
You know what I mean? So you're spinning yourself into like a mess from something that already came from them to start off with.
Right.
And that's where it's so important to have that intuitive fluency, because they say, okay, we just, we told you're in love with this person because we kind of put them there. However, there's stuff that needs to configure. So don't lose your mind on Facebook chasing him down. Like, we know who he is, you don't have to keep showing him pictures and drive him to his house. Like, stop. We know who he is. We put him there. Okay? So just relax and do what we tell you to do. Just shut up and do what we tell you to do. Now, the do what we tell you to do part is very important.
Right.
Meaning follow the synchronicities, because I know a lot of people in my classes, they get the synchronicity. They don't want to know because they hear, okay, they're asking for a human, like I want to be with this person, but the answer coming back is, okay, so you need to figure out what your career is.
Right.
No, wait. I need this human. You need to figure out what your career is. I need the human. What does the career have to do with the human? The human is going to text me. The human is texting me. The human is, wait. I need the human. The human isn't texting me. The human isn't doing the human career. Why?
Right.
Because that human requires a person who knows what they're doing and is completely, has their own life. right? So a lot of people, they don't want to know from it. I see it in readings all the time. They don't want to hear, and if you really, I find that people who go on, focus on the human part are the ones to that level, are always the ones who don't have those career things in place, because they're looking for the relationship to be their project instead of themselves. And it never works. Right. That's why those people kind of end up without the person that they were gunning for, right? So it's important to follow those signs and symbols and synchronicities, even if it seems like it's not on the track, because a lot of times they're trying to help you to
pull it all
become eligible for that. You know what I mean? In the zone. They're trying to get you in the zone. And remember, it's not just about acquiring what you desire. It's about keeping it.
True.
And if you don't have a complete sense of who you are and that career and that passion and that livelihood within you, when you get into that relationship, you absolutely become codependent on that person, because now that person is the source of your happiness and not your own fulfillment. And then it kills it. It's the shortest relationship ever. Yeah, the neediness just takes over, and you're just like, forget it. It's just you might get it. Okay, there you go. And they'll give you practice people, because that ultimate twin flame, they're not going to put you in that situation per se, because it's too big of a relationship. But they'll throw people that are very close to that ultimate person, and they'll try to get you to shift and make these changes. And if you don't, you're gonna kill it. And you go, oh my God, I killed it. Oh my God, that was my ultimate person. Well, it wasn't, but it was a practice ultimate person. You know what I mean? Like, we're not stupid. We knew you were going to kill it, so we just gave you a dummy. You know what I mean? And that's how smart your higher self is, right? That's why we have many soulmates, because we're supposed to learn, with many different people, so that when you get to those really big crescendo, high octane, make a difference in the world with that partnership person, you're not killing it. Does that make sense?
You don't strangle it. Yeah, you don't choke the relationship off with your energy.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope that helped.
Yeah, that
helped. Did that answer your question? Okay, excellent.
Yeah, it did.
Excellent. Yeah, well, thanks for calling in, and keep doing the good work. All right, take care. Have a great night. Okay, so that was, she had a really, really good question. Love it, love it, love it. And I don't think we have any more. I think our other caller, we lost her. Sam, she didn't come back, huh? Okay. All right. Okay, so just as a quick recap before we wrap the show for today, confidence comes from practice. Okay? It doesn't come just from listening to the show and spinning around and chit-chatting about it. It comes from practice. Put this into practice. Take time 3 times a day. Do your sessions. Stay focused. And more importantly, manage the other 15 and a half hours. Make your choices. You can't do this wrong. Okay? It might seem like I'm giving you a lot of tasks and saying, oh, that's wrong, that's wrong. But meaning like all roads lead to Rome. You'll eventually get there. But we're just talking about if you do it my way, you'll get there more efficiently. I like to say that. I like to make people laugh. But seriously, I know because I'm about as headstrong as you can possibly get, and you can ask Sam. And I've hit so many walls, and that's why I say a lot of the things with such confidence and conviction. And I can just talk to people who I've never seen, heard before, and just, my mother even said, she says, yeah, you just pop off these answers. I don't know where you get this stuff from. I'm like, well, Mom, it's called channeling. But I'm also very confident because I've lived every single bit of this. I don't ask you to do anything I haven't done myself. And so that's why I can come so confident, because I live it. I'm not reading it and then talking about it without the in-between step of actually practicing it myself and seeing. Okay? So with that, we're going to wrap for today. We will see you in 2 weeks, because next week is a holiday week. So we're going to take the week off, and I will see you in 2 weeks, same time, same place, and with my motto, which is you truly can have exactly what you want. You absolutely deserve it too. And in this new energy, anything is possible. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.
You've been listening to the Aha Moments radio show with your host, Mari. Be sure to visit her blog and website at www.ahamomentsinc.com. That's AHA, moments with an S, inc.com. Also join Mari on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ahamomentsinc and Twitter at twitter.com/ahamoments. We can't wait to see you there.
reading